Hello and welcome to Nightline. I'm Brandon Wong. The top stories. Malaysia committed to stronger ties with China, says Tun Dr. Mahathir. And government should focus on issues that directly affect the people, says Tun Daim. Good morning. The new Malaysian government that came to power in May last year is committed to strengthening Malaysia-China relations with even closer and more meaningful cooperation. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the trade and investment growth between the two countries in recent years had been meteoric, and this trend would continue to generate more opportunities in the areas of tourism, science and technology, as well as cultural exchanges. He said this in a message in the souvenir book published by the Malaysia-China Friendship Association, better known as PPMC, to mark the 45th anniversary of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Tun Dr. Mahathir said in the initial stages, it was more of government-to-government relations. The partnership had scaled numerous levels and chalked up milestones that today make China Malaysia's biggest trade partner. He said China's astonishing growth in the last few decades that catapulted it to become the world's second biggest economy had contributed much to its extensive presence not only in Malaysia but in other parts of the world. The Prime Minister said it was in June 1993 when he witnessed the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between PPMC and its sister organization, the China-Malaysia Friendship Association in Beijing, during one of his many official visits to China. Tun Dr. Mahathir also congratulated the PPMC for being able to sustain the friendship through all these years and, in fact, taking it to a higher level. He said despite changes of leadership in both countries, the partnership had remained constant through the years, thanks to the adherence to the principle of non-interference in each other's internal affairs and striving to be good neighbors. On China's Belt and Road Initiative, the Prime Minister said Malaysia had taken the position of supporting it for the benefits were mutually shared and distributed. He added that for Malaysia, it was a continuation of the ancient trade that started way back during the Malacca Empire, and trading between both countries had never diminished for centuries. In Alor, Kedah, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad spent almost 20 minutes in Pekan Rabu on Sunday. He was accompanied by his wife, Tun Dr. Siti Hasma Muhammad Ali. He stopped at a traditional cake shop, Warisan Mak Chah, to buy his favorite food, namely kacang putu and karas. Tun Dr. Mahathir, who has a certain fondness for the market in the centre of town, also bought songkok, sampin, Malay shirt and chapal at his favorite shop, Style Tun Songkok Malaysia. The Pekan Rabu receives many visitors daily. Its concept has unique strong points and positive features which attract not only locals but also international customers. From a weekly market under an atap structure in Tanjung Chali in the 1920s to a multi-story shopping arcade today, the market continues to attract and charm both local and foreign tourists. The Pekan Rabu was officially opened by Tun Dr. Mahathir on February the 25th, 1978. It opens daily from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Later, Tun Dr. Mahathir went to the Darul Aman Stadium Bazaar to buy delicacies for breaking fast. The Pakatan Harapan administration should focus on the cost of living, affordable housing and reducing toll rates in its second year. Former Council of Eminent Persons chairperson Tun Daim Zainuddin on Sunday said that the government had been previously busy with Felda, Lembaga Tabung Haji and other financial problems. But now, he said, it was time to focus on price of goods and cost of living issues. Tun Daim said the government should secondly focus on building homes, increase the number of affordable homes and thirdly, reduce toll charges. The former finance minister, however, did not go into details on what he hoped to see, but he stressed that he was merely sharing his views as an ordinary citizen, and this was what the people wanted. When asked about the performance of the cabinet, Tun Daim reiterated that the government was still new. He said that ministers needed to be given an opportunity to perform. When asked if Pakatan Harapan could fulfill their promises within its second year in power, Tun Daim said that this was the beginning. This Hari Raya Aidilfitri period, enforcement on federal, town and rural roads will be stepped up. Transport Minister Anthony Lok Siu Fook said this move by the Police and Road Transport Department, RTD, was necessary, as most accidents are reported along these stretches rather than the country's expressways. Lok said RTD teams would also be stationed at selected RNRs along the highways to carry out enforcement work.
What we do actually, we will do investigation, kita akan buat penguasaan semasa sebelum mereka berjalan. So we know where ada hotspot terminal bersepadu di Bandar Tasik Selatan umpamanya. The enforcement will start there. Kita takkan nak sampai tengah jalan. Takkan kalau itu pemandu ada saman you tak nak berhentikan dia, itu bas macam mana? So whatever we do, we always think about practicality. So kita nak penguasaan, tetapi kita penguasaan itu akan bermula sebelum mereka memulakan perjalanan. So you don't expect in the middle of the road you stop the drivers. Kalau dia tak bagi dia jalan, macam mana itu penumpang? So nanti akan menimbulkan berbagai masalah lain pula. So we will start the investigation and start the enforcement before they start the journey.
He said this to the media after launching a road safety campaign in conjunction with the coming Hari Raya celebration in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan, on Sunday. The road safety campaign will end on June the 12th. Lok said to reduce accidents in the country during festive seasons, road users, especially those who are not driving or riding, can record traffic offenders and report them to RTD. He added enforcement should also focus on motorcyclists, who contributed 63% of the accident deaths. He said an estimated 35% of all motorcyclists do not wear helmets on the road. He noted that the number of accidents during this year's Chinese New Year celebration also fell from 21,041 registered last year to 20,829. Although the number of road fatalities during the 2-week period also fell from 208 to 197, the Transport Minister said the numbers were still very high. In the meantime, 2,175 summonses were issued by police to almost 2,000 motorists for various offences during a 3-night operation. In the crackdown conducted by traffic police with the cooperation of the National Anti-Drug Agency, AADK, and Plus Malaysia Berhad, commercial ops saw the arrest of a lorry driver, 6 lorry attendants and 2 motorcyclists at the Sungai Besi Toll Plaza after testing positive for drugs. According to authorities, the suspects are between 19 and 46 years old, with 8 of them testing positive for shabu and 1 for ganja.
Di bawah pengaruh dadah ni, ianya akan boleh menyebabkan kemalangan, kerana apabila di bawah pengaruh dadah, pemandu atau penunggang itu sebenarnya dia tidak dapat mengawal keadaan pada ketika dia memandu ataupun menunggang. Inilah di antaranya operasi yang kita laksanakan untuk mengekang daripada penyalahgunaan dadah dan juga lain-lain kesalahan trafik, yang mana ini boleh membantu agar tidak berlakunya kemalangan lalu lintas.
The vehicle owners booked comprised 1,320 lorry drivers, 216 bus drivers, 332 van drivers and 49 taxi drivers. They were issued summonses for 1,773 offences, including speeding, driving without a licence, using a mobile phone while driving, and number plate-related offences. Between January and April this year, 2,370 commercial ops have been conducted along Plus Malaysia Berhad. During these operations, 60,660 summonses were issued to lorry owners and 7,589 summonses to bus owners. Following the operations, 14 speed detectors were installed along Plus highways. The operations are targeted at those driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, commercial vehicles carrying goods in a dangerous manner, and vehicles illegally parked in emergency lanes. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew Vui Keong, on Sunday denied he had interfered in a recent court case in Singapore, which led to the execution of a Malaysian drug mule being put on hold, after writing a letter of appeal on his behalf. In a statement, he said it was obvious that the Singapore Court of Appeals granted a stay on Panirselvan Prantaman's execution after considering the prevailing circumstances and the rule of law applicable in the case. The minister said that it was therefore untenable to allege that there was interference on his part in the Republic's judicial process. Datuk Liew added that the allegation of him interfering with Singapore's judicial system was totally unfounded and baseless, adding that Malaysia respected the decision of the Singapore court. He also pointed out that the court in Singapore only granted a temporary reprieve to Panir to allow him to exhaust his legal and constitutional rights by engaging a competent counsel of his choice. Datuk Liew noted that it was an absolute abhorrent to justice if Panir is denied such basic rights and gets executed without being heard. A 2-year-old boy died, believed abused by his stepfather, in Gua Chempedak in Kedah on Saturday. Following the incident, police apprehended the 28-year-old suspect who was believed to be responsible for the death of the toddler. In a statement on Sunday, Yan Police Chief DSP Shahnaz Akhtar said the boy was brought by the suspect to the Sultanah Bahia Hospital for treatment, but the doctor who conducted the examination confirmed the victim had died. He said the doctor also added that the victim may also have been pinched and punched in the stomach and back. Based on the swellings and the injuries on the victim, it's believed the wounds were deliberate. The victim's mother, aged 22, was also detained, and the case was investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code. The Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Maizuddin Shah, on Sunday called on the Perak Religious Islamic Department to investigate the action of certain quarters to use mosques and suraus in the state for political activities. Sultan Nazrin also urged an investigation on the claims that religious talks were given by unauthorized speakers at 2 mosques and a surau between May the 21st and 24th, and a full report submitted to him. In a statement issued by the Sultan of Perak Darul Rizwan office in Kuala Kangsar on Sunday, Sultan Nazrin also consented to the suspensions of the Mosque and Surau Committee chairmen who allowed political party programs under their watch while investigations are being conducted. Sultan Nazrin stressed that efforts need to be taken to preserve the purity of mosques and suraus and to make sure these places were politically free. Sultan Nazrin said he had summoned all 6 political leaders in the state yesterday who had pledged their commitment to conserve the sanctity of mosques and suraus and not taint their sanctity with political activities. After this breather, over 300 Pakistani detainees to be repatriated. Welcome back. Former Malaysian External Intelligence Organisation MEIO Director General Datuk Hassana Abdul Hamid will challenge the issuance of a warrant of arrest against her for failing to show up for case management last Friday. Her lawyer Datuk Shaharuddin Ali said in a statement on Sunday that the defence has been instructed to file a criminal application on behalf of Datuk Hassana in what would be a test case. He said the central issue is whether or not pre-trial case management is a trial, and it's their power to issue the said warrant of arrest under the Criminal Procedure Code. He questioned if it was justified under existing laws and in a situation where a large amount of bail had been posted. He also pointed out that the High Court has set February 3rd next year for trial, and that Datuk Hassana was ready to defend herself. On October 25th last year, Datuk Hassana was charged with criminal breach of trust of public funds amounting to 50.4 million ringgit, for which she claimed trial. She was charged under the Penal Code, which carries a sentence of up to 20 years imprisonment, whipping and a fine upon conviction. Datuk Hassana had posted a bail of 500,000 ringgit. And last Friday, Kuala Lumpur High Court Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira issued a warrant for Datuk Hassana's arrest for not turning up for the case management. More than 300 Pakistanis detained at Immigration Department's detentions depot nationwide will be repatriated on Wednesday. Immigration Director General Datuk Khairul Zaimi Daud said the detainees, who had already served sentences on various immigration offences, will be repatriated via special rented aircraft by the Pakistani government. In a statement, Datuk Khairul Zaimi said the program was Islamabad's initiative to expedite the repatriation of their citizens, especially prisoners who could not afford to buy their own tickets. The Pakistani government is bearing all expenses incurred on the repatriation. The Immigration's Depot and Detainees Division will oversee the repatriation process and movement of all detainees from the depot to the KL International Airport, KLIA. He said the Immigration Department and the High Commission of Pakistan will always work together in matters involving citizens of both countries relating to immigration affairs. Earlier, international news agencies reported that Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan had instructed Pakistani authorities to channel more than 1.3 million ringgit to bring home 315 Pakistani prisoners who had been sentenced to death in Malaysia. In Johor, two bodies confirmed to be the missing fisherman, 43-year-old Muhammad Yusni Muhammad Yusuf and his cousin Muhammad Khair Ismail, aged 38, were found early on Sunday. The search and rescue team recovered the first body in the waters off Tanjung Labo Batu Pahat, while the second was found floating off Sungai Tampuk, Benut, near Pontian. The victim's family have confirmed their identities. In Kelantan, the stepfather and uncle of the 13-year-old girl were slapped with jail sentences for raping the minor between 2013 and March this year. The stepfather, a 56-year-old rubber tapper, was slapped with 13 years in jail and 10 strokes of the rotan after he pleaded guilty to the charge. Meanwhile, the victim's 41-year-old uncle was sentenced to 5 years in jail for molesting her in 2013 when she was just 8 years old. Both men were hauled to court under the Penal Code. In Ipoh, Perak, police have ruled out foul play in the gas poisoning case in Taman Risha, Jalan Ipoh Lumut, Saturday night, in which a Bangladeshi died and 2 others were injured. Ipoh District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Ali Tambi said the spot where the incident happened, located opposite a petrol station, was in fact a manhole for the installation and maintenance of gas pipes by Sedia Engineering Sendiri and Berhad. The case has been classified as sudden death. The injured are currently receiving treatment and are reportedly in stable condition. And finally, a man and his son, who were arrested for allegedly shooting a caged monkey in cold blood, were released on police bail on Sunday. The man who owns a banana plantation and his son were released after their statements were recorded. Perak Police Chief Datuk Razaruddin Hussain said the investigation paper was almost complete, but it needed to be referred to the Deputy Public Prosecutor for further action. Shell Malaysia has introduced an immersion program focusing on science, technology, engineering and mathematics, or STEM, dubbed the My Geek Movement, to help boost interest in these areas among the younger generation. The initiative gives students insights into the world of technology and innovation while also providing learning content that complements the existing school co-curricular structure.
My Geek Movement encourages students to be innovative and enables them to continuously grow their technological, critical, creative and innovative skill sets. This year's competition requires students to challenge themselves in designing an innovative solution or invention for sustainable living systems.
#MyGeekMovement is Shell's way of getting young kids excited about science, engineering and mathematics, because there just aren't enough science graduates in our universities, and we need them in order to drive not just our industry, but actually, Malaysia's progress for the future.
6 schools with 2 finalists each from Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak participated in the national finals after emerging as winners from the state-level My Geekathon competition. The grand finals took place at the Shell Make the Future Live 2019 event held at Sepang International Circuit in Selangor recently. Techie Monkey from SMK Bintulu Sarawak, comprising of Darren Lee Hua Yi, Wendy Lim Yi An and Isaac Yong Wei On, were crowned national champions for their invention called iRecycle. The mobile application encourages users to recycle by making the process simple, while also rewarding loyal users with a point system that can be redeemable for selected rewards in the future.
So the iRecycle is an app that can be used to call the recycle truck to come and collect the recyclable materials. After they come and collect, they will weigh the recyclable materials and they will convert it into leaf tokens, which is a type of point that were created to be used in the shop.
A total of 225 Form 1 students from 15 schools across Malaysia were selected to participate in the My Geek Movement and were given the opportunity to gain hands-on STEM learning. First introduced in August 2017, the program aims to increase the number of students opting for the science stream and inspire them to experiment more on technology for the future.
After this breather, motel in Oklahoma City destroyed in tornado. The details next. We move on to the foreign segment. A large earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 8.0 has struck north-central Peru, the U.S. Geological Survey reports. The quake, at the moderate depth of 114 kilometers, struck early on Sunday, 80 kilometers southeast of the village of Lagunas, and could be felt from as far as Colombia and Brazil. It's believed to be the year's biggest earthquake. There were no immediate reports of casualties, but Peru's President Martin Vizcarra, in a statement on state TV, confirmed that there are reports of injuries and damage to homes and roadways. Firefighters were seen combing the affected areas after old houses in Mariscal Castilla Street collapsed. Earthquakes are a common occurrence in Peru, which lies on the Pacific's so-called Ring of Fire. Former Thai Prime Minister and Royal Advisor General Prem Tisula died on Sunday at the age of 98. Local media reported that the statesman died of heart failure at the Pramongkut Klau Hospital at about 9:10 a.m. local time. However, the cause of death has not been officially announced. Prem was Thailand's 16th Prime Minister, serving 3 terms from 1980 to 1988. A tornado destroyed a motel and killed at least 2 people after it swept through a mobile home park in El Reno, an Oklahoma City suburb, overnight Saturday. El Reno's Mayor Matt White said officials were working to notify relatives and search and rescue efforts were continuing. He added authorities are also trying to confirm how many people were at the mobile home park and motel. The storm came after a week of tornadoes, severe rains, and flooding in the southern plains and Midwest states, including a tornado that hit Jefferson City, Missouri. The region's most recent spate of bad weather and flooding has been blamed for at least 9 deaths.
See how it goes down almost to the ground, and look back in behind there.
Actions of the Super League. Stay tuned. Sports football, the Super League. 2 matches were played on Sunday night. Kuala Lumpur Trash Perbadanan Kemajuan Negeri Perak PKNP 4-1, while JDT beat Kedah 2-0 in Larkin, Johor. JDT's opening goal came in the 33rd minute via import Leandro Velasquez before Safawi Rashid added JDT's second in the 86th minute, sealing a 2-0 win for the hosts. And that sports item wraps up Nightline this time around. Tonight, we leave you with the visuals of Native Americans from around the United States at the 29th Annual Spring Moon Powwow in Massachusetts. Intertribal dancing to kick off the celebration. I'm Brendan Wong. Thanks for your company.